Good morning. Good morning, Keller Williams. I'm just getting our Facebook Live ready here. So we're on Facebook Live now. And good morning to Polani and Koya and Clarice. And let's see, Adrian's going to join us. So I love it. Thank you for supporting and being on the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book collaboration this morning for Monday Motivation. I am your host, Sally Hayes. I'm the assistant team leader here, and I am enjoying going through this book with everyone. So if you're just joining us today, we are in the middle of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and you're able to find those recordings on my YouTube channel. We're going to upload them to our Keller Williams YouTube channel as well, where you can filter through our Facebook live stream and find them there. So if you need those recordings, let me know, and I'll give you the link to those, and you can watch them, and I've numbered them. So welcome. We're going to wrap up the organizational model because we didn't finish that last week. And we're going to talk about on page 169 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the 2 Ds in your organization, and talking about you've done the 3 L's. You focused on leads, listings, and leverage, right? Coupled with the 4 models, the economic model, the lead gen model, the budget model, and now the organizational model to set up your 20-lane highway to begin working your business. And last week we ended with Adrian's note, and she said she loved on page 69, as an ongoing reminder, think of your organizational model this way. You need talent to shine, systems to define, train and consult to refine. So as we are wrapping up what that looks like, I love on page 169, the 2 Ds in your organization, and addressing systems and tools, because while you're going to find people first to help you in an administrative role or some of those tasks, you're going to also need systems and tools that they can work with to really make that other drive of your business with how you do things consistently to help you shine in customer service. So did any of you do the DISC assessment? I put that in our link in our email out, and see where you were in the DISC personality assessment since we talked last.
I did.
Adrian did, and we talked about that. So Adrian, share with us what style you lead with. There's DISC. What are you?
I'm a DI.
You're
so
a D.
I'm a D.
Okay, very good. So we'll any of you want to share if you've got that, if you know what your letters are on the DISC personality assessment that are here today on the screen? Any of you even know what I'm talking about? It's okay if you don't, because we're going to talk about it today.
I can share mine.
Hey, Polani, yes.
I am in just a little more of an I than a D, but both of those are very high, and S and C are the same.
Okay, so you have D and I there above the energy line, and we have all 4 of them within us. They all live within us, and some naturally have different behaviors. I'm going to talk about what that looks like in terms of one being a motor and the other one being a compass on how we react to things. All right, very good. So Gary says we talk about the DISC a lot in Keller Williams. So you're going to hear people say, oh, I'm a high D, or I'm a high C, I'm a high S. And you're like, what in the world are they talking about? Well, he refers to the D here on this page, and it says that you need 2 Ds. You need to bring more D to your business. So if we don't naturally have that within us, then we start looking within ourselves and how we grow. We might have to be uncomfortable, right? A little bit, because it may not be our natural personality style. So you need your D, how you drive, and your business needs a D. So there's 2 of those. And that concept does come from the DISC, and it stands for drive, and it's associated with doers. Doers implies action, right? So on page 170, it says D's get things done. Plain and simple. They do. They go fast. They want to get things done. And it's sometimes referred to as a leadership D. And over the years, the drive of the business also needs that. And the drive of your business is created from infrastructures. So powerful systems and tools. And that's your business D. what are some things that you think could fall into the powerful systems and tools that could help your business drive start functioning? Any of you guys want to take a stab at that?
Do you mean like systems
Yes.
and people?
Like what are some powerful systems and tools that could help your business really hum, that are consistent things that you could implement that create that drive of your business going?
Time blocking, using Command to CRM.
Yeah, those are two good things. That a CRM, right? Something that has an attachment. I mean, our CRM Command is a lead to close platform. So there's a lot of pieces in there that are tools and systems to help you automate some things and have some things that are humming, that you don't have to constantly do all of it. So it's the drive of your business. And it could be just the way you do things. It could be a seller checklist and a buyer checklist and the systems and the tools that you use to communicate with your business. So there's a lot of pieces that could help you do business at a higher level. And when we look at the drive of the business and the business organization, the two tend to exist in inverse proportion to each other. The more leadership D there is in a person in their business, a lot of times the less emphasis is on the developing systems and tools. And then on the other spectrum, the more focus there is on systems and tools, there may not be any leadership drive of the business. And that could apply to whether you have people in your world or just you in general, right? So a lot of that has to do with the personality part. So we think of when you have the systems and tools part of the leverage piece there on those 3 L's, and you have a great system going, is kind of like what he mentions here is great businesses that have a leadership drive, the CEO that started it, and they have systems like FedEx, right? I mean, I think of Chick-fil-A too. Anyway, that the thing could run without as much effort from the leadership part of the person starting that business, because they've got some things set up for themselves. And that makes the life worth living, right? And getting some time back in our world. So it kind of makes an autopilot situation if you think about it. One way that I think individual agents, if you're not there yet to have the people part of the leverage piece, the auto drip campaigns, the smart campaigns are a great way to have an autopilot for communication and marketing in your business. And if you haven't set that up yet, there's still time for you to do that by getting with Jessica or Colt and taking some classes around that. So that will put some autopilot on with your touches in that lead generation model. So at the bottom of the page, there's a picture of the dilemma of the D, and you'll see the triangle. And I wonder if that triangle is leads, listings, leverage, right? Gary's really fun about models. And it shows the balance scales there. Is it more leadership D and less business D? Is it more business D and less leadership D? Or is it a balance of the two of what happens in your business? It's an operations manual, the business D of your business would be. So it's hard to find an agent that has both of those. Like most people don't have them both as their natural. So don't lose heart about the disc, okay? Because I know for me on the disc, I'm a high I. I have D, but I outweighs it, and I has its struggles, okay? And the business D is one of them, right? So there's some struggles that we all have, or opportunities for growth and stretching ourselves when we operate in our natural and move to being purposeful. Right. So the business drive of your organization will always depend on you and setting that up and getting that in the right people to discover and implement the right systems. I think the right person, the people part of that leverage, when you have kind of a skeleton of what you want your business drive to be, that talent will take that and they'll plus it. They'll see the holes in it and they'll make it better. They'll say, what about this? So that's where that key first talented hire will make you shine, like page 169 said, that Adrian loved. So let's talk about DISC for a minute, because if you haven't taken the DISC assessment, there's several of them out there. I've got one that's a paper DISC that's super easy. that will kind of identify where you naturally lead on the DISC spectrum. And there's also one at tonyrobbins.com for a free DISC assessment. So if you go back to your email, I've included a link there for you, and it'll be a nice report from Tony Robbins. So let's talk about the D. Okay, so I promised you would talk about the DISC, and it really is just a model of human behavior. And there's 2 P's of the DISC, 2 key perspectives or observations, and they can be remembered as follows. One is a pace perspective, and one is a priority perspective. So it's how you, as your perspective, and each one of you will have a different lens that you look through on pace and priority. And what pace is talking about is whether you are more outgoing or whether you're more reserved. Right? And there's no right or wrong to any of this. We are who we are, and we all blend together to make the world work. And you naturally have those perspectives. So some people would love to just dive in and go, and others would like to move slowly and more cautiously and look at everything before they go. So you might can think of a couple of people right now in your world that might have that outgoing fast pace versus a more reserved and slow pace on how they operate. The priority perspective is people that are either more task oriented when they look at what they need to get done, or they're more people oriented, right? So you've got 4 ways that can blend together. You've got outgoing and task. You've got outgoing and people, the D and the I. You have reserved and people, and you have reserved and task. So those are the 4 spectrums and how you view the world. And some of you might have 2 of those things that really are high up. You might be fast paced, but you might be more people-y, and you might be slow paced, and you might have more view of a task. Let's get things done when you have that priority perspective. So it's the motor is the pace perspective. How fast are you going? That's the motor. Are you fast or slow? And the compass is, do you lean people or task? So you might be thinking about yourself right now if you've not done the DISC, and that's an easy way. Are you fast paced or slow paced? And are you people, are you task oriented, for a quick way to kind of see where you are on the spectrum. Now the D, when we talk about the D is going to be fast-paced and task-oriented. That's the quadrant that a DISC is, and the D really is going to be how you like to approach challenges and problems as they come up. These a lot of time are competitive, right? So if you think about when you're working in real estate, and there's a lot of people that are in business, if someone naturally has that piece to them, they're going to go fast and they're going to get out there. And if you don't have that, you may have to start matching that, and it might make your battery tired at the end of the day. But you got to get out there in terms of the drive of you running your business and the drive of your systems and models. They need to be taking you to the next place. And so I just think of a motor as going, right? Cars have motors. If they don't have a motor, you're not going anywhere. So how quickly are you doing that? So let's talk a little bit about some words that describe a D, since Gary is equating that you and your business need to have some of these characteristics. So words to describe a dominant or a D are going to be direct. You're not going to like some of you are going to shut down on some of these words if you don't have this in your DISC, okay? Demanding, decisive, determined, and a doer. All right. Their mindset is get it done, make it happen, play to win, and get results. Their likes are activities, which make you go, right? Competition, hard work, doing things, challenges, getting results, being in charge, and accomplishing tasks. All those are important in a business drive as well, right? They are goal-oriented, which you are because you have done your economic model and you've done your lead gen model. So you are setting your pathway up for this. And they are firm and they're performance conscious, motivated by challenges, choices, and control, and their environmental needs are freedom, authority, varied opportunities, and advancement. Now, what are their blind spots? Because those that have the D have a blind spot, and that is being sensitive to people and being able to relax and be patient. So if they're task oriented, their blind spot is mainly, especially when it comes to the organizational model, is not showing enough care for those that are people oriented. Those of us who want you to ask about our day first before asking about the goal, right? Let's have a little bit of a conversation and be a little relational. So people that really have what I call on the D spectrum, the high D, that's their challenge, is that a lot of times it may be hard for them to work with others that are doing things for them because they don't stop and they're not patient or relaxed, and it comes across as being abrasive to those of us who are people-y. Do you think, have you run into that? Adrian, you're a D. Have you run in? I know you have some people-y part to you with that I, but have you run into some times where you have to check yourself?
Oh,
in
most certainly.
relationships?
I think just knowing one's personality, I didn't necessarily know I was a DI until last week, but I know my personality. I know how I am in business. And so for years, I've really worked on compensating for that, being impatient, working with people. I mean, I love people, but I can see where when I'm trying to reach a goal or get my task completed, that in the past I've been incredibly impatient. And I guess in some cases can be rude, and it comes across that way, but it's because I have the goal in mind. So I have to compensate for that. And I've worked on that for years, but sometimes it gets, gets a little crazy. So I have to rein myself back in.
Well, I think and that's your natural, and that's your perspective. And so when you run into someone else on the disc that leads with a higher, maybe they're like a slower pace, they want steady, they need to know why we're changing something. We're not just changing it to be changing it. And especially when you're working the D of your business and you have people helping you, then you have to recognize what their disc is and what their blind spots would be, because every one of the DISC have their own blind spots. So we all have ways we can grow and become conscious of it. I think knowing it is most of the battle, right? And remembering that sometimes Ds can be bulls in a china shop. They just come in and there's a weight behind them, right? So it depends on that. Now, wherever you are, when you take the disc, you're going to get a graph, and it's going to show you if you have, there's a 50 percentile line. If you're below that, below the energy line, there's some words that describe that in terms of how you approach maybe challenges and problems that you need to know, because it may cause you to be a little bit slower paced. And if your client is a D and they need you to go fast, they're not going to like that. So you may have to be uncomfortable and mirror and match who you're in business with or who's working for you in your organizational model. So here are some words that describe someone that has D below the energy line, and that is conservative. They're calculating, they're going to think about things. They're not just going to jump out there. They're cooperative. They're a little hesitant because they probably have a higher disc that is more of a steady and a slower paced. They are low keyed, they're undemanding, and they're cautious. And they're going to be, because a lot of times this means that you have more people-y in you. They're going to be agreeable and modest and peaceful and unobtrusive. They're not going to run in because they're conscious of the people part of that and how it leaves a wake in the world, and they're not going to do it. So those are some words that if you're with someone that's in high D that has that impatience and they need to go fast and you're not getting them answers because you need to think about it, just know and remember that that's going to make them feel irritated, just like it makes you feel irritated that they're being that way.
Sally?
Yes.
I think one of the word that you said, I was thinking about it before you said it, was mirroring. And I think one of the things that I've learned, I don't know if it was subconsciously, consciously, but if you mirror somebody, it is so incredibly helpful to counteract, if you're a D, the impatience and just slowing down, because at the end of the day, and also realizing if you slow down, you're still going to get your tasks done. Yes,
true story. True story. It's if you are getting and feeling like you need to go faster, you might just get in your own way, and that's where you make mistakes, right? So let me make sure that I thought I had everybody's disc papers here for the I, S, and C, but I don't. I do. I lied. Here it is. The D was on one page. Of course it was. And all the rest of us are on another.
Oh,
Sorry,
you've got
Dee.
the math.
All right. So the I, if you lead with I when you do the disc, that stands for inspiring. You're going to be someone that's outgoing. So you're on the fast side, that you're people oriented, right? So your words to describe you are inspiring, influencing, important, interactive, impressive, and interested in people. Their mindset is to be the star of the show. So their symbol is a star, and the D symbol is an exclamation point. That's their symbol in the disc. All right, so they like to be exposed to people, short-term projects, making people laugh, doing things, lots of activities, to be going and talking with people, it's prestige, and to be important. They are talkative. They're great starters, not necessarily follow-up or enders. Okay, they like to get things started, but they're bored. They get bored with it and they move on. So you might be trying to develop some systems if you're an I in your world, and you start with this great idea and, oh my gosh, it's going to take me more than 5 minutes, so I'm out. So that just recognize that you're going to have some struggles with that. They are likable. They're prone to exaggerate. They're easily excitable and fun to watch. They like recognition, approval, and popularity. They need in their environment. So if you've got an I working in your business with you, then they need friendly relationships. They like for you to tell them they're doing a great job, and they like to have a chance to talk, right? So communication is friendly and informal. So D's don't like that very much, even though you guys, I know I heard Polani and Adrian said you have both of those. They like to get to the point, right? They want the bullet points. They don't want all that fluffy stuff. The blind spots for you, if you lead with an I, or that you have somebody in your organization that leads with your I, you're going to have to help them and coach them through, is time management. Being unrealistic is a blind spot. Listening to others and completion of tasks. So those are their natural opportunities to do better, right? And to recognize that they're doing it, because you can't stop. I mean, you're going to have to constantly, just like you said, Adrian, constantly be aware of if you're being abrupt. You have to be constantly aware that you're doing that, and everything is sunshine, right? You have to be careful about giving unrealistic information to people and tell them it's all going to be okay when it's not, because a lot of the disc profile does not want you to do that. They want to know what's going to happen next. So if you are an S, you are going to be a reserve. So you're gonna make sure make sure that the pace is steady. You don't like chaos. Chaos makes you uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you're not together, and you are people oriented. So there's that people-y part again. You're very supportive. If you will get the list together and this is what we're doing, the supportive people are going to make it happen. They've got that doer part. They just don't want to create it. They don't want to be in charge of it. They want you to give it to them. They're steady, they're stable, they're very sweet and sensitive, and they're sentimental. So their mindset is neutral. So let's all get along with each other and not have conflict. So if you lead with the S, sometimes confrontation is an issue. And I have some S, and I's don't like confrontation either, because they don't like to be rejected. So you like peace, an even pace, harmony, a reassurance, friendly groups, teamwork, and helping others with cooperation. So it's going to be important to have whatever you're doing. If you have someone working with you that's an S, they want you to have a skeleton of what we're doing and tell them why we're doing it and what that is. They want you to give them that information. So they're very understanding and loyal and sensitive to others' needs. So they're going to be very intuitive about someone and their feelings and how that's rolling. So they would like to have an area of specialization. This is what they need in their environment. Identification with a group, established work patterns, stability of situation, and consistent environment. They don't like it to be inconsistent. So the communication style of an S is warm, open, and sincere communication, but their blind spots where they are going to have challenges that you can coach them around are dealing with change and an ability to say no, acting independently, not having to have the group. So who has the problem and wants to tell everybody, yes, absolutely, I'm going to do this, when your schedule does not allow you to have that, any more things in your schedule. So being able to say no is because people that are people oriented on the compass want to make everybody happy. They love happy people and sometimes overextend themselves.
That's
So-
my daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's hard. It's hard to say no because you want people to like you when you're people oriented, and saying no is hard. So I think that one script I had given to me one time, because I have this problem, is if I say yes to that, I have to say no to something else that I've already committed to. I'm so sorry. So that is I think a nice script to be able to tell someone no.
Mm-hmm.
So the C is cautious. They're reserved. On the motor, they're going to be a little bit slower because they're going to be thinking about some things, and they're task oriented. They're not people oriented. They do want to get things done. But the words to describe someone that leads with C and has a lot of C is cautious, calculating, competent, consistent, contemplative, and careful. So if you don't know, if you've not met Stephen Sharp, our managing broker, he is a C and a D. Okay, so just know those are his two top discs above the energy line, right? So he likes to go, and he also he's got high standards, which a D will have, and he also is a C, so he wants it done right. And so their mindset is do it right with excellence. What is the plan? What are we doing? Have you thought it through? Because they're not going to love an I all the time, right? Because they're just going and they're not thinking it through. What is the purpose behind this? Why are we doing it? Please just tell me that, that you've thought this through. They like consistency, excellent work, being accurate, information, data, value, quality, getting things right, having a plan, honesty, and procedures. They are very procedure oriented, dedicated to the task, focused on the details, and logical, accurate, and respectful. So that is a really great person to have if you've got them running some systems, right? Especially if it has to do with contract to close. You want that person to have these characteristics as something that's in their natural, especially if it's not in yours. So they are motivated by excellence, value, and quality answers, not just answers, quality answers. And they love environments where there's clearly defined tasks. So they're going to want you to have your act together with at least giving them some definition of what tasks they're going to be doing for you. They want to have sufficient time and resources to get that done. They want freedom to ask questions about it and limited risks and assignments that require planning and precision. So this person needs freedom to ask your questions and time to ask you questions. So if you are running your business and you've got a person working with you that's a C, and you fly in and throw things, they're going to be like, I don't like this, is not comfortable, right? Because they're not operating in their natural, and they're having to adapt to that. They are logical, precise, and detailed in their communication. Now, what are their blind spots? Over-analyzing, ability to meet deadlines. They are perfectionists. They need to express feelings and the importance of the feelings to others. So they may sit and dwell and overthink things. So if you are an overthinker, you may have some of this in your natural personality, and that will keep you from going and doing and being fast. Because remember, you have to have some fast pace for drive of your business to be the leader, and also of your leadership drive and your business drive. So has anyone picked up on some things? You probably picked up on a lot, because we have all of these descriptions within us. Some rise higher than the others, especially when you get under stress. You're going to revert back to your natural personality because you're under pressure, and you're going to operate in who you really are. And you may be able to, as you study the disc, see how you relate to others on the disc, and especially if you're leading an organization, how you can be better to coach others to help your business improve. So I've done a lot of talking because I'm a high I. And so I was just curious, it's 9 o'clock. do you have any comments about the disc?
Hey, Sally, I've not done the test yet, and I need to do that. But I do see some I in me for sure. And one of the things, though, that I think that has over the years has been helpful to me, though, but I have to kind of redirect it in real estate because this is such a different career. But is that I was always good at managing people, and a lot of people at one time, because I think because of the variety of and I was most successful when there was a lot of variety in my responsibility, because then, you know, I could touch on each person's area and encourage them and push them and help them move along, but I didn't have to delve in all the details all the time. I had to know the high level. I'm better at a big picture level. And so that's where I probably struggle, you know, with the details. And that's why transaction coordinator was good for me, but this is good. And I'm going to take the test and see where I really fall.
Well, come by. I mean, Tony Robbins gives you a nice little report. Like, this isn't Tony Robbins, but it's a picture of what words might be on your describing you under each one of those DISC and where you fall, because it is a blend on that. It's really good when you can get a group of people together, and especially if you're on a like our support staff here, we can see how we blend together and we shine where other, like my wheelhouse is not doing all the paperwork. I can do it, but I don't love it. And so someone else who loves that and likes things to be in order can take that off the plate, but we just have to know how to communicate better. Mm-hmm. So I love it. And it's a little bit of a picture, especially if you're going to bring in somebody in your organization that's going to be that people part and thinking about going fast, right? So we are a little bit over time. I hope you've enjoyed some of the disc conversation. And listen, guys, on the last couple of pages, remember that you have the 3 L's and the 4 models. They drive service and they drive your business. Those two together are 2 things to remember: leads, listings, leverage, and your the models. We're going to dive in next to what makes a millionaire real estate agent model. It's the same models, but if you're growing and you want to scale your business, you're going to have some specific things that are going to come at you that might be a little bit different. And so we'll talk more about that. And don't drop off with me, hang with me for that, because there's really good stuff at the end. And I believe our next book experience, I'm open to commentary, whether that will be the one thing or the shift book, but we are definitely going to continue our Zooms on Monday morning around a book. So I'll see you guys later, and thank you for being with me today, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay.
We get copies of what, like, more of the details and the last sheet.
I can do that. I have copies. It's really interesting. I love the disc personality. Yes, ma'am. I can get you that. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.